Hey everybody, it's Kim Hawk, and I'm known as YouTube's Fairy Godmother of Real Estate. Today we have something that's really a game changer that we want to go live on, and I want to thank my YouTube producer, Dee Bellavati. Wish him actually a happy birthday that's coming up on Monday as well. And because we've got something that nobody's been talking about lately, and it's coming up in July, and we got to get everybody super, super ready. So if you want to know about being a first-time home buyer and one of the huge benefits that may be coming your way, that's going to be released in July, which means we need to be talking to you right now, because we've got to start getting you ready with a lender that's aware of this. I do want to mention, for those of you that are wanting, and we're going to be showing this video soon with the lender that we're working with, but a couple of things. If you have not owned a home in the last 3 years, you've been renting, maybe you've never owned anything before. And then I also wanted to state that typically there will be maximum salary amounts that you can make, and the estimation for Osceola County, which is where Celebration is, or Orange County, which is where Orlando is, the maximum approximate amount that you can make would be $131,700 salary a year. So that's pretty high for a first-time home buyer. And then they're looking for a minimum credit score of 640, which is pretty low. And if you haven't hit that number right now, that's okay. We want you to get with the lender that we're recommending and start working on, it's fairly easy to pop up your score a little bit, but we don't want to wait until July, because this is kind of breaking news. If I had the opportunity when I was in my early 20s or whatever to come and get a government monies to help with the down payment, I would have loved to have known about that. And so as people are logging on, if you'll let me know where you're watching from, that would be amazing. I would love to have that information. Oh, I'm just realizing I'm looking a little short. We kind of changed a chair. I kind of got into one of these gaming chairs because I'm doing a lot of videos lately. If you haven't been to the Near Disney YouTube channel, please subscribe and like. We have over 500 videos that are helping people with acquiring the American dream homes. And for those of you, and I noticed a lot, because my daughter being in that age group and her friends, a lot of people are not necessarily deciding to get married and do, they're just kind of working hard. And so they might be in underneath of that price cap, and as an individual then be eligible with a 640 or higher credit score in order to get up to upwards of $35,000. Now you're going to pay that back at the end whenever you sell your property, but it's going to help so many of you. It's going to be a game changer for you to have monies to put down, because I know there's a lot of wonderful young people that actually might even have those higher credit scores in the 700s and what have you, but they're saying, I just don't have the down payment. Well, now work with us. Here's my telephone number, 407-808-9845. That could be looking at properties with us upwards of $700,000 possibly. Yes, there's going to be a lot of options for you. And I know we work a lot. Hey, Mallory, I hope you have a great weekend too. I just hope that a lot of you will start grasping on to that American dream of not paying rent anymore. Don't pay rent anymore, guys. It's just, you're helping somebody else pay their mortgage. So let's find you something that not only am I going to help you with this government money, I'm also going to possibly help you and my Realtor Dream Team. Let's talk about them. Wow, people all the time. And what they might do is go to a seller and say, we would like 3% of seller contributions to come back too. So all these first-time home buyers realize, that there could be only 3% down programs. And so if we're already getting 5% of the government money to help you get that taken care of, and if we're asking the seller then to contribute up to 3% too, can you imagine what we're going to possibly recommend to you? We might be saying, hey, help us buy that interest rate down, because some of you are waiting because of an interest rate. But the Fairy Godmother of Real Estate is going to tell you, marry the house and date that rate, because rates can change, right? You might think it's high now, but if we get that interest rate brought down, we want to be showing you property right now, because once that interest rate drops, everybody that's been holding back to buy, they're going to flood the market. And then we're going to see a crazy, crazy time like we saw when people were coming in and saying, I'll pay $100,000 more for this house, or I'll step away from doing an inspection. We don't want you guys doing that. Well, I don't think that's a smart thing to do, right? We want to be able to go in during a reasonable market, find a property that you like, talk to a seller that's going to be decent about, okay, I understand why we're offering a little bit less because we need to get some new flooring, or hey, it's really important, I need a roof that's under 10 years old so I can get a good insurance policy on this thing and not pay out the roof. There's so many things, guys. It's so important. I've been doing this business for over 25 years. I'm a realtor for over 25 years. My mom, God bless her soul, she passed away in October. She was a realtor before me too. So I've grown up with this. This is your opportunity. It's your opportunity. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so I've given us enough time so people can come on board, but I'm going to go ahead and have this video up that you are more than welcome to share. But let's go ahead and get started. And I'll be back at the end to see if anybody has any questions. Sound good? All right. Thanks. I'm starting to see more people say hello. Here we go. Are you fearful of the hurdles for a first-time home buyer? Well, let me tell you, I've got some pixie dust for you. We're getting ready to do an interview with a lender about a first-time home buyer government grant that's coming available in July of this year, but you've got to get ready now because there's a limited amount of money, and it's available to anybody who hasn't owned a home in 3 years. And so if that applies to you, if you're renting right now, oh my goodness, you got to give me a call. Here's the telephone number right here. But stay tuned and watch this video. I am going to sprinkle some magic all over those folks out there that have not owned a home in the last 3 years. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're in your 20s. You could be somebody that's in your 60s that you decided you were going to sell a home years ago and you've been renting for the last 3 years. Well, I say, don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore, please. There's a new government grant that's coming out in July, but we got to get you ready now. Get you ready now. It's going to help if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years and if you have a credit score of 640 or higher. So I am very happy to tell you that we're going to be doing an interview with Meredith Wilson, and I call her the Maestro of Mortgages. My name is Kim Hawk, and I'm known as YouTube's Fairy Godmother of Real Estate. My telephone number is 407-808-9845. Please call me or text me. Let me know if you have an interest in this. There's limited funds that are going to be available. It used to be called the Heroes Program. It is no longer that. It can be available to any of you out there that have not rented within the last 3 years that have a credit score of 640 and higher. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I'm encouraging you. This is the way, the American dream. Let's go ahead and get you owning a home. Stop renting. Stop paying somebody else's mortgage. Let's start getting you into a place that hopefully now you can start getting some equity. Give us a call, but sit back, relax, and listen to this interview. We're going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Hey everybody, as promised, I am here with the Maestro of Mortgages. I've got Meredith Wilson here. We call her Mare around this place. So Meredith, I'm excited that you're here. And you know, we've talked about maybe breaking it down into 5 different points. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a question. You just share as much as you want, okay?
Yes, let's do it.
So if you could give us an overview, and it's a new government down payment assistance program, just kind of an overview.
Yes. So this program, it's very interesting. So it's the Hometown Heroes program, and it started a long time ago, and where they got the name. It was just serving for frontline workers, medical workers. Then just recently, about a year ago, they opened it up to everyone in the state of Florida, as long as you're a full-time worker. So overview is they'll give you 5% for your down payment or closing costs, and it caps at $35,000.
Oh, I love that. So potentially, if somebody qualifies, that sounds like maybe upwards of, see, I think in my head, up to maybe $700,000 would probably be, like if it's 5%.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So maybe upwards of,
5%.
not that we're going to be showing everybody upwards of $700,000 homes, but it's nice to know that might be towards the max, right?
The cap, exactly. Yes.
That sounds good. So, Mayor, talk to me about the second point, which the eligibility criteria as a first-time home buyer. What is that?
Yes. So, first-time home buyer, as long as you haven't owned a house in the last 3 years, that's what we consider as first-time home buyer. You need at least a 640 credit score, and you need to be a full-time employee in the state of Florida.
Very good. And you know what? I think this is so good to talk about because it's not necessarily just 20-year-olds that we're talking about here. You know, if somebody could be 60 and maybe they sold their house in their 50s and thought, I'm going to go rent, and they've been renting for 3 years and they're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be all about. I want to have home ownership again, as long as they haven't owned anything in the last 3 years, correct? They can be considered a first-time home buyer, even though they've owned other homes in years past, as long as it's just not within the last 3 years.
In the last 3 years, yes, correct. Yes,
Yeah.
as long as it's their primary residence.
Yes, primary residence. Yes, yes, love that. And then the third question is the application process and timeline for the program, because I think the money really is, there's a date of July, if I'm correct.
Yes, they still haven't came out with an official date. They're saying sometime in July. So we will keep you updated as more updates come out. And I would say how it works is you reserve funds once you're under contract and the loan is locked. So me and Kim were talking about it earlier. It's really right now we're suspecting like a closing date on the of July, but that doesn't mean we start the process July 1st. Kim, we really need to start this a little bit sooner so that people can get pre-approved, get their ducks in a row, and then by the time the program comes out, then we can fully use it.
Absolutely. I love that. So, and as we know, a lot of times when there's government monies that might be out there, there's only going to be so much, right? So we want everybody out there to be in touch with us. You can call me if you want at my number and or text me and say, I want to know about the first time home buyer information. I'm going to put you directly in touch with Meredith so that she can start gathering some information and start to make this happen. So on the fourth question I have for you, you didn't know you're going to be working so hard tonight, right? God bless her.
I love it.
So how does the assistance, how can it be used? So if the government's going to say to me, okay, Kim, maybe first time home buyer, I'm going to give you $35,000, but you need to use it how?
Yeah, so you can use that several different ways. You can use that towards the down payment loan or your closing costs. So let's give an example. Let's say on a $500,000 house, 3%, that's around $15,000 for the down payment, and they'll give you $25,000. That $25,000 towards 15 towards the down payment, and the other 10 towards the closing cost.
That's great. So, in closing costs, Mayor, is it possible sometimes that could even help buy down the interest rate?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, you can use it to help get a lot more competitive interest rates as well. Yes, and also you can combine this, and Kim, maybe you can elaborate more on this because when you're buying a home, you have the down payment, then you have the closing costs, and you can get the seller to help pay for closing costs as well, and you can negotiate that. So then you can use more of the Hometown Heroes Fund for buying down the interest rate.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yes.
That's a good strategy. Yeah.
That is an excellent strategy. So what Mara and I are trying to help you guys do is not to have as much cash out of pocket. We know, especially like if you're truly one of those young people, you want to go out and you want to own something. That's usually one of the biggest struggles, is having enough of a down payment or having the money to do that kind of stuff. So now, since you have the fairy godmother of real estate and you have the maestro of mortgages, we want to help you to strategize on how to make this work the best that it possibly can for you.
And effectively use it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So the fifth question might be, are there additional resources that they should be aware of now? Because there's some things we need to start lining up. What would those be?
Yeah, so I would say we need to start getting pre-approved now. Because if there's something that we need to work on, as far as maybe credit score, as far as income, whatever the case may be, it's a good time to start now, and we can come up with a good plan to help get you approved for this program when it comes out. Because like what we were saying earlier, they have given $100 million towards the funds, and once it's used, that's it. So I remember last year, it was only it was about 4 months, and they were already out of the money.
Wow. So we almost have to, yeah, we got to grab that glass slipper while we still can.
Exactly, yes.
We got to make sure that carriage doesn't turn into a pumpkin, right? So
yes, exactly.
That's what we want to do. So Mara, feel free to give your telephone number if you'd like.
Yes, so my phone number is 407-773-1775. You can call or text me, and then that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Yes. And then what we'll do is we will potentially start sending some recommendations on homes that you guys should be looking at. That's part of the fun thing. Mara's going to be making sure she's getting you ready. You know, she's going to tell you like, okay, this is how you find your credit score, you know, because we're saying 640 and some of you guys have never heard that. But I will share too, I want you to talk to Mara before you start doing things like, you know, somebody says, oh, before I call her, I better pay off all my credit cards. Don't do that yet.
Yes. Don't do anything. Yes.
Don't do anything yet. Talk to her first, because she may say, I don't want you to do that. I want you to do this instead. And so best to talk to her so that we have our magic formula together before she submits everything. And then I think this is an exciting time. I can't remember anything like this in a long time.
Yeah, this is because there's so many down payment assistance programs out there in the state of Florida. This one, by far, just through my experience, is the best one out there. So you really want to take advantage while they have the funds. And here's the thing too, like with renters, it really is quite easy to own a home. You know, a lot of people they make it seem like a really hard process, but like I've helped over 250 new first-time home buyers, and you know, I would say the downfall is you do have to provide documents, but it is achievable for everyone.
Yes, and you couldn't have somebody, like I said, she's the maestro. She knows how to put it all together, and she's nice and patient, and I have an incredible realtor team, like I said, that is available. We have people that speak Spanish fluently. We have people that speak Portuguese fluently. We have French. So globally, we are prepared. We just got to make sure that you are employed, correct, in the state of Florida.
Yes. Yeah. Your employer doesn't have to be in Florida, but you do need to be working from an office that is in the state of Florida.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, you heard it here, folks. I don't hear anybody else talking about it. So it's hot off the press. We wanted you to call. Like I said, if you're listening on a podcast, my telephone number is 407-808-9845, 407-808-9845. And I will connect you with Meredith, and we will get the ball rolling, and it's going to be a great year for a whole bunch of us this year. Yeah.
Yes. It is. We're going to get a lot of first-time home buyers into houses.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Bye.
Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Meredith. You know, these opportunities don't come along that many times. And, you know, we've got to make sure that we do something now while we still have access to the glass slipper. Do you agree? Yes. So if so, please make sure that you call me or text me at 407-808-9845. My name is Kim Hawk. I'm with Florida Motion Realty. I've been a realtor for way over 25 years, and I'm a top 1% nationwide realtor, and I'm here to help you. I really care about making sure that you have the opportunity of having a part of an American dream. So give us a call. Make sure that you subscribe and like to the Near Disney YouTube channel, because we have over 500 videos that we're talking about things that pertain around that 25-mile radius around Cinderella's castle. Because as YouTube's very godmother of real estate, I want to make sure you have a magical opportunity in owning a home. Until next time, give us a call. Bye-bye. Guys, wasn't that an incredible, kind of groundbreaking? I mean, it's big news, because in the past it used to be called Hometown Heroes. Now it's available to anyone that is employed in Florida, full-time employed in Florida. I believe probably going to want to see full-time employment last 2 years. And then, like I had mentioned, the ceiling caps for the salary income is pretty high, because a lot of times when you have first-time home buyer grants, they're going to make it much lower. But for Osceola County and Orange County, the estimates are, as long as you don't make more than $131,700, and if you have a minimum credit score of 640, which is really low, you guys, and if it's not there yet, I want you to still call us. So I'm going to put you in touch with Mare, and she's going to give you some recommendations on how to get, some people that aren't as familiar with how your credit scores work, FICO scores. Now, remember, a lot of times your credit scores, you're looking at like 3 different numbers, but they're going to be most concerned with your FICO score. There's ways in order for you to be able to do that. Seeing question, do you grant loans to students who wish to study abroad? This would be for somebody that wants to purchase something in the state of Florida, David. So maybe they would have to actually be employed by someone in Florida full time. So that's what we're talking about here. But we appreciate you watching, and I'm glad you're asking questions like that. So, for example, in Central Florida, upwards of $700,000, which, because remember they said they would do 5% up to 35,000. There's lots of great options under 700,000. I used to get concerned when people would call and say, I need to find something for about 250,000. And I'm like, well, I have a beautiful 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo that is in a gated community that you can get for 225,000. So if anybody's interested in that, fully furnished. But if you're talking about a home, a 3-bedroom home, you're probably going to be closer to, much higher than 350, 400, and if you can come to me and say, hey, let's go have some fun shopping, upwards of 700,000, I'm going to be able to blow your socks off with what's available to you in Central Florida. For those of you that are still just starting to think through this, remember our Near Disney YouTube channel. We have over 500 videos about the 25-mile radius around Cinderella Castle. Now, this could also be because we also concentrate on the beach areas as well. So as long as it's your primary, and so many of you, and I know I'm going to speak to the young people right now, but this is available to an older audience as long as you haven't owned something in the last 3 years. But let's say if you're a young person that is fully employed, and you can work anywhere that you want, and you come to me and you say, I want to be by the beach. Absolutely. Let's go look out at Madeira. Let's look at Treasure Island. Let's look at Clearwater, or let's look at the other side of the state of Florida and go to Cocoa Beach and all those wonderful places, because a lot of you can work from home. And with you being able to work from home, isn't it even more important for you to own where you're at? So you're not constantly having to move every year because that landlord is increasing the rent every year. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Let the fairy godmother of real estate help you. And now we have the Maestro of Mortgages, and she's coming up with all kinds of incredible programs as well. But the key is you've got to call us now, because we have to start prepping you so that once it's time to apply for these funds, which will probably be in July, then you kind of already know what you're looking for to purchase. We kind of know the price point. We've already worked with you on helping you figure out how to get that credit score improved. We've checked out to make sure that you don't make more than what the cap is. A lot of you as young people have not married yet, and so hopefully that 131,000, what was it, 500 or whatever dollars a year salary, you won't be over that. And let's talk about, if I were to look at a loan and say, okay, if I'm able to get my down payment money, and then you say, well, people have always told me I had to put 20% down. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, 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 you don't. You do not have to do that. So it's just something that we're very familiar with. You know, some of you might say, well, I'm concerned about private mortgage interest, PMI. Well, guess what? You know, we could potentially also look to the seller and say, we want 3% towards your closing costs or your prepaids. And so they even have something out now where a lot of times you can prepay your private mortgage insurance, a lump sum upfront, so you don't have to deal with that. But I may say to you, really, let's look at all these numbers, because maybe it's not a big deal in paying PMI for a while, because, you know, it's a number game. I always look at where you're going to be best fit. Where's the equity going to be for you? You know, if you're going to sell this in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, what have you. That's why I have so many repeat customers. I'm so appreciative. A lot of the clients that I started working with well over 25 years ago now have children that are working with me now. And I want to be able to look everybody in the eye and tell them, I think we did a good job. What you bought, it was a good idea, right? Hey, Brenda. Hello. Some more people joining in. But anyway, that is kind of the big news that we wanted to share today. Like I said, 640 credit score, not scary. That maximum salary block, it's great because it's going to allow a lot of people available. You do not have to be in the medical field, paramedic, or anything like that. That was the program of the past. This now is available to everybody that wants to possibly be purchasing in Florida. But like we said, that money is going to go away very, very soon. So come July 1st, we want to have you ready so that we can get you into the pipeline. And if you're renting right now and you say, gosh, my rental's still another 10 months, still call me. I want to put you in touch with my Realtor Dream Team, and they're going to talk about, okay, what's the cost? A lot of times with rentals, they'll say, okay, if you break the rental, we're going to charge you 2 months or something. So let's look at all the documents. Let's help figure it out. But don't miss out on this government grant. You don't have to pay it back until after you sell. It's like a silent second for you, which is amazing. And it's magical. So if I had my magic wand as a fairy godmother, this is sweet. One of my clients gave me this. Dream big. We want you to dream big. We want you to dream big. That's exactly what we want you to do. And we want you to be able to have an incredible, blessed life and a property that you own. And we're here for you. Okay, well, let me see. I'm not seeing any questions other than just a lot of love, which I so appreciate calling you, but putting it in a voicemail. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you. Very good. Sounds great. Once I'm able to catch on to voicemails, be more than happy to do that. Okay, God bless everybody. Once again, Kim Hawk, 407-808-9845, Florida Motion Realty, right here in the town that Disney built, Celebration, Florida. And we concentrate on Central Florida, that 25-mile radius around Cinderella's Castle. All right. Have a blessed day.
Make sure that you subscribe and like so that we can continue to give you up-to-date information on all things that are going around the 25-mile radius of Cinderella's castle, because this is truly a magical place to live.